right, friends, here we are again for another exciting episode of Max Headspace 9mm. Can you imagine the thrill that I felt when I got home from my long day of work and I saw this huge box sticking out of my mailbox? Oh, I could see it all the way down the street. It was glorious. Now, I know what's in here, but I can't wait for you to see it. And I can't wait to tell you about it. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. A Foxtrot Mike AR9. Now, I know what you're saying. You are screaming right now. How in the world did you get Primary Arms to send that to you at home in your mailbox? Well, I gotta admit, I did not. I am kind of playing a game with you. I had this sent to my FFL just like everybody does, and it's supposed to be that way. So that's the only way you can get these, and that's proper, and that's okay. But here's my story. Now, if you've been watching my channel very long, you know that I absolutely love rifle caliber pistols. And this is my AR-15 with a 7.5-inch barrel. Now, as much as a blast as these are to shoot, they're not very practical. When it comes to actual self-defense and sustained target practice, these are more fun than anything else. And I absolutely love this. This is a great way to let off steam. And it's kind of expensive to run because it shoots .223 or .556. But it's a blast and it's a lot of fun. This shoots a very high velocity round. Even out of the short barrel, it's still going well over 2,000 feet per second. And for home defense, it's a penetrator. It's not a great idea. So I have been thinking for some time now that I wanted an AR9. So I happened to shop around and I found this really great deal on Primary Arms for this beautiful AR9 upper. And I got it. It's a Ghost upper, Ghost Guns upper. And it's got everything. It's basically just a regular AR upper. And it's got all the features of the AR. I had this charging handle myself already. And it's got a beautiful front rail. And it's got this linear compensator that can unscrew. And it has the regular threads on it, the 1/2x28. So I can put my suppressor in here. So I'm off to the races, and I'm kind of excited about that. I got a bolt. This is a pretty typical, AR9 bolt, and it is for shooting Glock mags. Now, lo and behold, I'm looking for my lower and going everywhere, and I'm not having much luck at all. All the websites I went to, the prices on anything that was available was $250 and up. And I was getting a little frustrated because I didn't want to spend that much, but nothing else was available. And then I got this ad on Primary Arms. This is becoming quickly one of my favorite companies to deal with. They had this Foxtrot Mike complete 9mm pistol that shoots from Glock mags for less than $500. And it had everything I wanted. It would have cost me more money just to buy a lower somewhere and go ahead and put all the parts in it and get it all set up. So I went ahead and I got that. Now, this thing is a really impressive gun. I looked at the pictures, I went online, and I looked at all the different reviews on it. There wasn't as much information as I'd hoped, but it's a fairly new product. But every review I saw was positive. So I went ahead and I ordered, and boy, I'm glad I did. This thing is amazing. The quality is really, really good. I couldn't have asked for better. It looks like a $1,000 gun right here. Now, it's got a few proprietary things on it. And actually, they're proprietary in a good way. I really like it. They've got a charging handle built into the forend. And I'll tell you, it's got a lot of spring tension. The buffer spring is very, very strong because this is a blowback gun. All of these AR9s are blowback. So there's no gas system in this, which is actually kind of a good thing. It's simpler, it's easier to clean. There's a lot of benefits to that, especially if you want to run suppressed. But I will tell you, be very, very careful and practice good trigger control when you're working this, because look how close this is to the end of the muzzle. It's pretty close, so you want to be careful not to get your hand up in front of that. But that should not be a problem if you are disciplined and if you do things correctly. And normally you don't charge the gun unless you're doing a mag swap anyway. So that's one of the proprietary things about this gun. I'm actually pretty impressed with the forward non-reciprocating charging on this gun. And from what I understand as I look at this, it looks like this can be reversed to the other side if you're a lefty. Now, one of the other things I really wanted, and one of the reasons I was having such a hard time finding my lower, is I insisted on last round bolt hold open. Not every lower will do that. So all the ones that would do that were really expensive or they were out of stock. That is where this gun really shines. I absolutely love Foxtrot Mike's last round bolt hold open mechanism. This thing is incredibly tough. Most of the time you'll see an AR9 with a thin little bent piece of sheet metal that runs in a groove from here back to your bolt release mechanism. Foxtrot Mike's uses a very proprietary, patent-pending, beefy, well-built mechanism. This is not a stamped piece of steel. It's a milled piece of heavy gauge material connected to a pillow block with a rotating rod that connects to your bolt release. And look at that. That thing is very positive. There is no way that that is going to not work. Most of the AR9s I watch, when I Googled or YouTube videoed last round bolt hold open, they talked about how if it doesn't work, you can just kind of bend the tab a little bit. And that's just what people are used to doing with this. It doesn't seem very positive. It seems like every now and then you just got to bend the tab to keep it working. This is something that will never fail. It is heavy built, and it's an extremely nice mechanical device on there. Everything about this is really nice. It's, for the most part, mil spec. All the parts in here, I really, really like it. Like I said before, it uses Glock mags, and I really love how positive the Glock mag seat and how big this button is. Easy to find. My finger just automatically goes there, and the mag falls free. Now with an AR, if you use plastic mags, a lot of times you're palm slapping them in there, you know, because you don't have a positive click most of the time. With metal mags, you do. But this is an incredibly positive seated mag. When I push that mag up there, or when I use this mag release, I know exactly what's going on, and I'm sure I'll be able to even with my ear protection on, because I can hear and feel the click of this mag getting seated. I can definitely feel the mag release button intuitively. It drops free easily. I love the way Foxtrot Mike made this magazine and magazine release work. It's a nice flared magazine well. It's easy to find, and it just really likes going home. Everything about this I love. Safety is just a mil-spec safety, but I like it. It has a little trap door right here instead of a charging handle. And that is because it's got this charging handle up here. This is just to keep gas out of your face. So what else do I like about this? Well, I'm probably going to change out the grip to something a little bit more vertical. I'm probably going to put a pistol arm brace on here. And they didn't include that from the factory, and there's a very good reason. They know you want to pick your own pistol arm brace. They know you're going to want to pick your own grip. So they just leave those things for you to decide. And I think that's great. I'm really glad. Now, I'm going to compare the bolt in the Foxtrot Mike to the bolt that I had gotten. And there are two very different ways at making a bolt for a 9mm AR. So this is the old school way. They've been making them this way for years. And they basically come apart in the middle. They're machined in two pieces. This is just a steel piece of round stock. And this is where the firing pin and all of the guts are for your extractor. And this is normally a gas key, but in reality, all this is here is so that your handle can charge this gun. So, you know, it's fine. This is a fine way of doing things. There's nothing wrong with this way at all. And it just presses back together. You can pull out this pin right here, and that pin retains your firing pin. If you pull this out, you see there, you pull that out and your firing pin comes right out. And it is a spring-loaded firing pin. These are roll pins, and so they keep the tension and keep this thing pressed together. And the reason why this doesn't come apart, all the force is constantly pushing here. And you've got a buffer tube and spring pushing on this end here. So everything is pushing this thing together. There's no forces to pull this apart except when you want to do it. So this is a great system. There's nothing wrong. It's very simple, easy to manufacture, and it just works. So the Foxtrot Mike system is more exotic, and it's really quite beautiful. It has the fish scales in it so that if you want to use your forward assist, you can. It has a machine piece of tungsten inside of the back end. And it's all one piece of metal. So it's not pressed together. You can take some kind of a punch and push in that hole right there, and this pin comes out, and that is your firing pin retainer, which is also spring-loaded, just like on the other bolt that I showed you. Both of these have really excellent extractors. They're good-sized extractors. I've seen some that have very small extractors, but I think extraction is a really important thing, and these are definitely beefy, oversized extractors that will work just fine. And I think both of these are great. I mean, this one, honestly, the Foxtrot Mike is a little bit more impressive. It just looks, the finish and everything is just a little bit nicer. So I'm 100% happy with this. It is by far more than I was expecting. And I can honestly say, if it shoots half as good as it looks, I'm going to be thrilled with this. So let's take this out and see how it shoots. All right, I'm out at one of my favorite shooting spots. It was very cold last night, about 27 degrees. It's not much warmer than that now. I took the FM9 out of the box and showed it to you. I have not cleaned it. I have not lubricated it. So we're going to be out in the cold showing you first shots. We're going to show you a variety of different ammos, and we're going to put it through its paces and see what it's made of. I threw my sight mark red dot on here because every time I put it on a well-made firearm with the top rail aligned with the bore, it always holds 0. So we're going to see how well this FM9 is put together. And, you know, that's a good pairing. This sight mark is an economy optic, just like this is an economy gun. So this is a pretty good pairing right here. It's, like I said before, it's cold, no lubrication, first shots, no cleaning. We're going to see, in worst case scenarios, what this gun is made of. Got a variety of different ammos here today. in a variety of different grain weights. American Eagle, Fiocchi, Herders, and Hornady. We're going to throw some hollow points through here and see if it'll handle that. Some different feeding systems from a drum, a fun stick, and just regular flush mags that I just happen to have around. So let's try this thing out. We're going to start out with my good old Glock 26 flush mag with Herders 115 grain ball ammo. First shots. And it locked open. So far, so good. Now I noticed when I had this out here, and the reason I do that is because first shots with any weapon, I'm a little bit cautious. But I noticed when I had it out here, this hole in the end of the buffer was shooting gas in my face. So any kind of pistol arm brace I put on here, I might want to deal with that issue. It's not a big deal, and I don't shoot like that normally, but first shots, I want to get this as far away from my head as I can. So, just trying everything out here. Now I'm going to tell you right now off the bat, one of my Glock magazines, one of my really old Glock magazines from my Gen 1, it doesn't fit in this magazine well. And I'm guessing it is because this thing is bulged out from years and years of holding ammo under spring tension. Glock magazines do have a steel liner, but they are a very thin steel covered with plastic. So if you have really old Glock magazines, they may not work. This works in all my Glock pistols, no problem, but it's not going to go into this magazine well. But that's okay. That's totally understandable, and I don't mind it one bit. Now, fun stick. Will this work? Perfectly. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, why would you want one of these in the first place? Why are these becoming so popular? Besides being cheap to shoot and fun to build and all of that sort of stuff, what's the practical purpose of this? Why would this be any better than this? This is my 9mm Glock 17. They both shoot the same round. They shoot the same magazines. What's the advantage? Well, this gives you a pistol grip, just like the Glock, but it gives you a foregrip as well. 2 points of contact that are in different locations, as well as a cheek weld. 3 points of contact is much steadier than 1 point of contact, and that's one of the main advantages. Slightly longer barrel. This is a 7-inch barrel that comes with this. Much longer sight radius if you go with irons. And rifle sights are much better than pistol sights. Pistol sights are abbreviated, they're minimized, so the gun is carryable. They'd snag on things if they were really pronounced good sights. So there are a lot of compromises made in a handgun that you don't have to make with this. You could put magnification on this, and overall, the controls are just better. It's a much better manual of arms. So I don't know if you can see, but the target that I've been shooting is right there. I paced it off at 35 meters. And with this, it's very easy to hit pretty consistently. So let's try a little comparison test with my Glock 17. Same distance, same target. All right, so I didn't hit every single time, and it took longer. I had to get myself steady and just focus more on the sights because they're harder to see. Sights that are way out the end of your arms are much harder to see than sights that are right here. That's one of the big advantages. And something that's out at the end of your arms, you really have to practice steadiness to keep from moving around. You know, the thing can twist this way and that. You know, you have to basically create a real strong support system for a handgun. So let's back up a little bit and see at what point I can't hit with the handgun anymore, but I can continue to go with the Foxtrot Mike 9mm. All right, I paced it out to 50 meters. Nice round number. And I know from experience that that's my practical limit when it comes to handguns. So the target is right there. And let's start with the Glock first. Well, out of ammo. So, as I said, that's my practical limit. Now, let's use the Foxtrot Mike 9. Just too easy. Let's pace back some more. All right, I've paced back to 75 meters. The target is right there. Can you see that? I can see it, but it's not easy. So let's see if I can still hit it with this. So I'm starting to miss 75 meters. That's a lot better than I could possibly do with this Glock pistol. Let's move back a little more. Okay, 85 meters. Target is right there. Let's see what we can do here with this. I am noticing that I've got to aim a little higher. I'm lobbing the bullets to the target. When I started, I was aiming near the bottom, and now the red dot is almost covering the entire silhouette target. In fact, I'm using the green dot on my sight mark so that I can distinguish between the two, but I'm putting the green dot right on the top of the head of the silhouette. Let's move back a little more. Here we are at 100 meters, and the target is right there, I think. I can barely see it. I'm sure you can barely see it. 100 meters, I paced it off. And yeah, this is gonna be a challenge at this distance. Let's see if I can hit it. Hit. Hit. Miss. Yeah. Not easy. Not easy at all. So for me, 100 meters is about my practical limit with this firearm.
You know, I would probably do a lot better with an AR-15, and I certainly would do a lot better with a bench. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And this is a very accurate 9mm pistol. All right, enough of this accuracy stuff. Let's do some rapid fire. Held back. This is the second of these long stick mags that I've used, and it's held back on every single mag I've used so far. But I've got one question. Will it drum? Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I will say, my drum mag is a little tight in this receiver. I couldn't just throw it up in there like I could the other stick mags. But it did go in and it locked. It looks pretty cool on this gun, I must say. I would really love to be able to use this on here. So let's find out if it works. It closed. Up. So I'm not sure if it's the drum. I don't think it's the gun's fault, to be honest with you. I've never had a problem with this drum on any of my Glock pistols. And I've shot rapid fire with it and everything. But I think with this, it just might not be a match made in heaven. And just to prove the point that I'm not angry at this drum, this is my Glock 26, and I'll see if it works. You just have to make sure that the mag and the gun like each other. I'm not sure why some do and some don't, but that's all there is to it. All right, let's see how the FM9 likes Hornady Critical Defense. Held open. So, no problems feeding hollow points. Let's try some 147 grain suppressor ammo without a suppressor. I loaded up 5 rounds of this American Eagle suppressor ammo because I want to be able to run suppressed with this. So let's see how it likes this. It's a kind of a flat-nosed bullet. It's got some rounded, but it's a little stubby on the front. Let's find out. And it held open. So far the FM9 is running perfect. I can't really think of anything else to do with this. All right, I got to tell you guys, I am super happy with this gun. The FM9 has not disappointed at all. So the next thing that I want to do is either replace the front rail or find some way of getting my suppressor on here. I'd hate to have to wait another 9 months for a smaller suppressor to come in and fit inside of there. But I do want to run this suppressed. I think that would be a ton of fun. And what I'd like to know from you guys is just ideas. I want to put a pistol arm brace on here. It was really cold out here putting my cheek on this buffer tube. So I want a foam cover on there if I don't. But this thing is a lot of fun. And it's accurate, and it definitely extends your range. And I recommend it highly. Now here's an idea for the comment section. I'd like you guys to chime in and tell me if you would like a review comparing the two of these firearms. Now the one on the bottom is a SIG MPX. And it kind of represents the high end of what these little self-protection sub-gun type of things are. I would say, you know, there's probably going to be some arguments between this and the MP5 and maybe the CZ Scorpion. You know, I'm sure everybody has their favorites. So let's talk about that. But this is mine, and it is the Cadillac. of subguns to me, personally. And what I want to do, and I think would be interesting, I love to do these reviews where I compare the high end with, more economy models and see if it's really worth the extra money. Is it that different? I mean, this thing is run perfectly reliable today. I'm totally happy with it. I've run all different grain weights and types of ammo through it. It never choked once. And I'm guessing that the problem we had with the drum mag was strictly the fault of just the fact that they don't work well together. And that's something you just have to learn. I know I want to put a more vertical grip on here. I'll probably get a mag pull with more of a vertical stance closer to what this magazine angle is. But when this thing is so short and this is all close in, this is a little back swoopy for my hand. I'd rather have a more vertical grip on there. And I don't know, might do a few other things, but I want to keep this really simple. So let me know if you're interested in a review of the SIG MPX, as if, there are already thousands of those. But also a comparison between this and the Foxtrot Mike 9mm. One thing that really impresses me about the FN9 is how easily Glock magazines seat in this gun. They just go up and you do not have to force anything. They catch and they hold secure. And that's impressive, This likes Glock magazines, that's for sure. And it held open, like every other time. This is a really fun gun that should be taken seriously. One of the things about this is it does have a little bit more recoil than some of the smoother shooting guns like the SIG. And that's because it has a heavy buffer and a heavy bolt. So it might feel a little bit more like an AK, whereas the MPX feels more like an AR, as far as recoil is concerned. But it's not that bad, it's not unmanageable, and it's a lot of fun. This is Max Headspace 9mm. Have a good one.